Hello, everyone. My name is Demetrius Harmon. I'm a financial coach on Harmon Financial Coaching. I help my clients with budgeting, saving money, paying off their debt, building wealth, and just increasing their financial literacy as a whole. So I'm not going to waste any of your time. I'm going to get straight into it. You've seen the thumbnail. I told my wife to quit her six-figure job. All right. So back in 2019, my wife was working, and she had been working there for 10 years, and things were very going very well for her at the beginning, but things changed, management changed, a lot of different changes came about, and it just all came to a head in 2019. So before I get further into it, real quick, give this video a thumbs up. It helps YouTube, the algorithm, helps to push my channel out, helps my channel to grow. If you really enjoy my content, definitely subscribe to my channel. All right, so in 2019, my wife called me. I was on my way home. I was probably 20 minutes from the house, and at that time, my wife was working full time. She was going to law school in the evenings. She just had a lot on her plate, and my wife has lupus. She has which is an autoimmune disease, and one of the big symptoms of lupus is that you just get fatigued. Like, I mean, you could just take a shower and you just need to lay down. You may not want to go to sleep, but you just need to literally rest. Like, you have to rest because your body is just tired. So she had a lot on her plate, and she called me on the phone. Like I said, I was about 20 minutes from the house, and I knew my wife I knew things were getting stressful for her because I pay attention to my wife, and I'm very attentive to her needs, and I noticed she wasn't happy. Um, it was just I just knew things weren't right, and as a husband, as a provider, as a protector, I wanted to do something. I just wasn't sure what I could do, and she said, she was telling me when I was driving home, she said, Demetrius, I don't know what to do. It's just, I don't, it's just too much. And before I knew it, I just said, she said, what should I do? I said, just quit. I mean, it just rolled off my tongue. I was like, quit. I was like, just quit your job. She was like, just quit. I was like, yeah, just like that, just quit. And I was like, in my head, I was like, wow, I really said that, right? And I got home 20 minutes later, and if I didn't know any better, I would have thought my wife was pregnant. I'm talking that first trimester glow, not that third trimester when they're just ready to just have the baby because they're uncomfortable. All the glow has went away by the third trimester. I'm talking about the first trimester when everything is still great and they have that glow about them. That's how she was glowing sitting on the couch when I walked in 20 minutes later after I told her she could quit her job. And she had sent an email letting them know that it was like a little prelude. Hey, I'm leaving in 2 weeks, and it was like a email resignation. And of course, my wife, for those that don't know, my wife is very professional. So of course, she wrote an official letter of resignation as well, because you always want to be classy and you never want to burn any bridges. Um, and so when I came home, I immediately noticed it was a weight that was lifted off of her. She went from coming home on a Friday, and she had this look on her face when she came home on Fridays. It's like, sometimes we have that look like, man, I made it. Her face wasn't like that. Her face was more like, whew, I survived. Like, I mean, it was awful, and it started to affect her health. Her job started to affect her health. It started to affect her blood pressure. She was having a lot of aches and pains, and it was just a lot. And like I said, as a husband, I believe in like true manhood. Like, hey, you're supposed to protect the family. You're supposed to provide for the family, and you wanna shield them from anything that's causing problems or hurting them. And you say, well, how was she able to do that? So my wife quit her six-figure job. I'm gonna give you some context. This wasn't like, she was making $27,000. She was making six figures. That's a lot of money. So it's not something that you just want to walk away from. Of course, that's a really good job. That's a career. She didn't have a job. A lot of people, like Chris Rock said, job is just over broke. No, my wife had a career. She could have retired from it and everything if she wanted to. So you say, how was I able to tell my wife to quit her six-figure job? Let me explain. We got out of debt. So for those who do not know my story, in 2018, my wife and I paid off $32,000 in 5 months. Yes, I'm gonna say it again. We paid off $32,000 of debt in 5 months. And I tell people all the time, as a financial coach and as a person that has went through it, has really been through the fire and came out on the other side. When you have debt, it starts making decisions for you. It just does. It makes decisions for you, and you don't even know it. You may think you're in the driver's seat, but you're not. You're not even riding shotgun. You're in the back. You're in the back seat running your mouth, but debt is driving. Like, yeah, debt makes all the decisions. It gets off on whatever exit it wants to get off of. It stops whenever it wants to. So when we got rid of that debt, everything changed. So I always tell people, when you have money, you have options, and when you have options, you have freedom. So you have you're the decision maker now. I don't know about you. Options, freedom, decision making, those things sound really good to me. I'm sorry. I'm willing to go through whatever, as long as it doesn't compromise my my faith and my integrity. I'll do it. I'll do the hard work. I'll roll up my sleeves and get it done. And that's what we did. We paid off our debt, $32,000 in 5 months, and then we got our we saved an emergency fund, and we got on a budget. Get on a written budget. You got to tell your money where to go, or else you're always going to wonder where it went. John Maxwell said that. I think it's brilliant. If you can't remember that, just remember this: if you don't know your numbers, you can't grow your numbers. I'm gonna say it again: if you don't know your numbers, you can't grow your numbers. So we had to get on a written budget. It was airtight. Pay off our debt. We had a sacrifice. We had a delayed gratification, and then who would have ever thought in 2019 we would come to this fork in the road. And like I said, I was able to tell my wife just to walk away from her job, and that felt so good. And all glory goes to God. First and foremost, all glory goes to God. Without him, none of this would be possible. Second of all, you have to do the work. There's a lot of women that would like to stay home, but they can't, because their family, they're in debt. When you're swimming in debt, you can't walk away from a job, because again, debt makes decisions for you. Studies have shown that people take a job typically that pays more. I'm gonna say it again. They typically take a job that pays more. Well, you say, well, Demetrius, what's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. Let me explain. A lot of times there are jobs that pay more, but the job that pays a little less actually will be more fulfilling. But you'll take the job that you're going to be stressed out, you're going to be traveling on the road and things of that nature, and all because it pays more, not because you're trying to retire early and go move on to something else that you want to do. It's because you're swimming in debt. So the overarching message is, get out of debt so you can have options, so you can be free and not go to a 9 to 5 where people do not appreciate you. I don't know about you. I'm not happy with working a 9 to 5, working 40 plus hours a week, and the job does not appreciate you, because they didn't appreciate my wife. They always say, take as much time as you need. Well, they say that until you're not there for a week, and then they're like, hey, is she really sick? Did someone in her family really pass away? I wonder if she's coming back. I wonder, is she doing what she's supposed to do? And who wants to go through that when it's hard going to a place that you're not appreciated? And like I said, man, just all glory goes to God. To be able to tell my wife to walk away from a 6-figure job, I never would have guessed that in a million years. Never. If you would have told me that a year before the hand, that my wife I was gonna be able to say, hey, just quit your job. No, I never would have guessed that. And please don't think that I'm bragging, because this isn't a brag at all. This is, I want to inspire you. Hopefully this inspires you. Hopefully this teaches you. So just to recap, how was I able to do that? I got rid of all my debt. So when you have money, you have options. And guess what you have when you don't have any debt? You have money. It's going to be hard to build wealth when you're sending your money to all these different entities. All right? So it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. See, in America, we have a spending problem. We are consumers. We consume. We need to start flipping that, reversing that, and we need to start producing. So we can make the money, then we got to start keeping the money. And you say, well, why should I do that? You had to ask yourself that. My financial why is my financial legacy. I want to make sure I leave behind something for my kids. And then also, I didn't mention this, my wife recently just completed her law degree debt free. She graduated debt free. Again, all glory goes to God. And we would not have been able to do all that if we were sending our money to Nissan Financial and American Express and all these other entities and all this junk, and they're taking all of our money. So I want to ask you one question before I sign off. Ask yourself this: how much money would you be able to save each month if you didn't have any debt? I'm going to say it again. Ask yourself, how much money would you be able to save each month if you didn't have any debt? Now, reverse engineer that and tell yourself you could give yourself that amount of money. You could give yourself that money if you paid off your debt. So, hopefully this video inspires you. Hopefully you learn something. Please, 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 if you don't learn anything else, get your finances in order. Get on a written budget. Pay off your debt. Build up an emergency fund so that when your job is not acting right, you can tell them to kick rocks. You know what? You can kick rocks. I'm gone. I'm out of here. And guess what? It will feel awesome. I promise you. So that is my time. Take care. God bless. And remember, change your mindset. Grow your money.